Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, standing here on that circular red carpet under the spotlight of the Geneva Business School is my first journey into the TEDx world, I must admit. Second, as you've seen from my title, I am not an expert in mental health, which I will leave to those who deal with it on a daily basis. Quite to the contrary, I am the humble CEO of the Geneva Chamber of Commerce, a private institution that has been advocating the voice of the Geneva business community and its 2,500 corporate members for over 155 years. But what brought me here, the reason why I accepted to take up this challenge by GDS is because I believe that health is, of course, our common priority, especially in these unprecedented times. And because it is my belief that mental health plays a critical role in our daily lives. We are nearing October 10. Are you familiar with that date? October 10 is the World Day Against Death Penalty. You know, Geneva is a capital of human rights. But October 10 is also, and foremost, the World Mental Health Day, as launched by the WHO, also headquartered in the smallest of the large cities, Geneva. So this is a vibrant reminder and a very timely event to discuss this among us. The WHO released a survey this week highlighting the fact that in the times of the pandemic that we are navigating, 93% of the countries they have surveyed have showed an increased demand in mental health services. No later than today, the International Red Cross, which, as you know, is really the birthplace here in Geneva of human rights, has also released a study which showed that 1 out of 2 inhabitants is suffering mentally. There's a psychological burden in light of the pandemic. That sets the stage for what we shall be discussing today. Have you ever heard of the Chalet Syndrome? I hadn't heard of it since this very day, while having lunch in a major company out in their innovation campus. On that sunny day, a very quiet, serene place, which was really helping to release the stress of these hectic weeks we are going through with the pandemic. A colleague of mine told me, I have a close friend who hasn't put a foot or even a finger outside her home since the first day of the pandemic. Out of anxiety, scared, of course, as we all appreciate, of being contaminated, but really going through a phobia. That's the Chalet, I was told, syndrome, which I guess is the Alpine Swiss Heideland translation of hut syndrome or snail syndrome, have I heard. But I will leave it to the experts. And that again tells a lot. The only certainty that we have today is that there is no certainty with respect to the pandemic. We have no crystal ball, no magic stick. And the length, the depth of that situation exercise a very burdensome strain on our mental health. Isolation, as we have all experienced, triggered by the rather soft here in Switzerland confinement. We strongly believe in our own freedom and therefore also in our responsibility, two faces of the same coin. But still, having to adapt, to adjust to that new norm, overnight, moving away from your office and having to work from home. That's the type of shock that you need to factor in. And it calls for mental resiliency. You need to be robust to face this. Plus, the landslides of concerning economic news, the increase in unemployment, the loss of income, these chain of events all triggered a sense of weakness, of loneliness, that trigger anxiety, that also derive into eventually depression, and for some of them that translate into drug or alcohol abuses. This is the scene as it is being sensed by a non-specialist as I am. If I look at the situation from the triple angle of what is my day-to-day activity. First, legally, I'm a qualified lawyer in my previous life and still have that type of legal reflex. Is our society equipped to deal with mental health? Well, under Swiss law, employers are due to protect the health, including the mental health, of their employees. To implement all necessary measures to ensure that in the course of their daily activities, they can be prevented from damages such as burnout, harassment. And it goes as far as having to implement a conflict management systems within the walls of your company. This is the legal framework. Then if you look at the situation from a business perspective, as I told you, I'm running an SME that has been working as a startup for 155 years, and I have 30 committed employees and colleagues, including Pauline, who's here with us tonight. My duty is to take care of them. And touch wood, we have no cases of COVID in our house, while we have all been working, including myself, every single day, in particular during the weekends. But mental health is key. We need, on a best effort basis, to ensure that they can deploy their activities in a balanced way. And this pay back. If I look at it from a profitability perspective, there's a return on investment. A study showed that 1 trillion a year of economic productivity is lost because of mental disruption, such as depression. 1 trillion. Another study shows that investing $1 in fighting these psychological burdens translates into a return investment of $5 in terms of productivity. Apologies for these figures, but I still have an eye on my financials. We are a private institution which I run as an entrepreneur. That's the economic damage. Then I have a third hat, a political hat, since I'm also a member of the Parliament here in Geneva. It is our duty, from a political perspective, to also ensure that we can take due account of that mental health component in the measures that we implement. The response to COVID has mobilized so much resources within the HUG, the leading Geneva hospital, our private clinics, that potentially, I know this is not the case in Switzerland, we have a very standing system. But the risk is, in certain jurisdictions, that mental health be treated a bit like a second-class citizens, because the focus is on physical health due to the damages incurred by it. So it is also our responsibility as a politician to ensure that we can have the necessary response in terms of needs for psychological damages. So in a nutshell, if you look at it from a legal, economic, and political standpoint, we need to address the issue of mental health and ensure that our society title of today's TEDx, is properly equipped and remain duly equipped. One of my favorite writers used to also be a politician and a minister of culture. It's Henri Malraux, for those of you who know him. And he used to say that the man is the sum of all his actions. So I'm now giving you more of a personal insight at what I believe help on a daily basis to retain a balanced mental health. Of course, I encourage you all to do sports, to be healthy. I try to do better sport, although I should do more. But what I do, some would argue, including my wife, that I'm a workaholic, but I dedicate time, energy, and my resources, enthusiasm being the best fuel, to what I can achieve, to action-driven initiatives. And this is what the Chamber is about. This is what we have with my team been delivering in these harsh times, because it is precisely when we're navigating in uncharted water that we need to hold the fort, to have our vision, and to deliver our missions. So this is, to the benefit of the entrepreneurs, what we have been doing. And I'm convinced that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. I am convinced. The same Malraux said, a life without hope is like a life without grief. We need grief, there will be hope. And the message I wanted to deliver to you tonight is a message of trust, probably the most important word ever. And thank you very much for your attention and for your trust.